4-3 over the reigning American League Cy Young Award winner. They're now 5 over 500. Today, because of the rain yesterday, got to play 2. A rainout means a long day of baseball here at Camden Yards. Mr. Banks, we're going to play 2. It's the Orioles on Masson and WJZ, a Sunday afternoon and Sunday night at the ballpark. First of a split doubleheader, the Indians and the Orioles. The rain out yesterday after the Orioles took Game 1. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne. Welcome. Lots of rain fell around the Baltimore, Washington area. So doubleheaders today. Orioles, Nationals are all going to play 2. The Orioles against the Indians. Good outing in the first one as the Orioles came through again with the big hits with runners in scoring position to win it. Even a better chance today? Perhaps, because they've got their center fielder back. Adam Jones, who never went on the DL, is back in the lineup. That throwing shoulder that had bothered him was from this injury on June 15 against Philadelphia. Play that he made in the outfield, immediately knew something was wrong. You see how he hung that throwing arm. He's not felt particularly well, so today they took him out early. You can't see him because he's in camouflage clothes, but he's out there throwing, and he felt fine. And Jim Palmer, he's back.
Well, he's back, and you know the Orioles have played so well. I mean, won 16 out of the last 21. But he started it. They had a 5-game losing streak. They lost the first 3 down in Houston. Hit the big home run. They went to Cleveland, hit a couple of more home runs. So again, when he plays, it's not that the Orioles aren't. The great thing about this team is they have some secondary players, guys that don't play every day. But the one thing about Adam Jones, and we've seen it the last 4 or 5 years, almost every game of the year.
Great to have him back in the lineup. Big house on hand on this Sunday afternoon for Game 1. And when we come back, we'll play some baseball. Indians and Orioles, Game 2 of the 3-game set. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Smythe Jewelers, where Maryland gets engaged. Summer afternoon here at the ballpark, but it's going to be a comfortable one. Take a look at our BGE Home game time temperature at 77 degrees. BGE Home is Baltimore's home team for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Why would you call anyone else? Cleveland Indians, 10.5 games out in their division, have Kipnis, Lindor, and Brantley, Murphy, Santana, and Moss, Gomes, Bourne, Urshela, Carlos Santana against the Orioles. Look at the home runs and RBIs.
And take a look at Ubaldo Jimenez, and a lot of fastballs, 2 seamers, 4 seamers on occasion, slider, curveball. That's the breaking ball. Changeup, a very big part of his arsenal. The splitter, a lot of strikeouts, ground balls come from that, along with the 2-seam fastball. So almost a hit per inning. Walks way down last year. Led the American League in walks, even though he did miss some time. Again, totally different pitcher. Revamped the windup. Gives you a chance to win. And the other part of the whole thing is that he throws a lot more strikes this year, and they score a lot more runs for him.
He is 6th in the league in strikeouts per 9 innings coming into the ball game. As Jim said, he's dropped his ERA from 4.81 last year to 3.40. An enormous drop of a run and a half. Boy, when you dump it down that much, you're going to win some games.
You know, the amazing thing is that last year, the one thing, and it jumped out in so many different ways, it didn't score a lot of runs for him. Pitch count got him. They only hit 209 in runners in scoring position. That number's higher, but again, the difference, he throws more strikes. He's easier to play behind. I don't know if that has anything to do with the offense. Maybe it's just picture on the right days, but he does. And when you invest $50 million, which the Orioles do, the highest free agent pitchers contract ever, yeah, that's all you want. Somebody's going to give you a chance to win, and he's done that.
Kipnis will lead it off. There's Adam Jones back out there in center field. First time since the 15th. First game since the 20th. Last time, of course, he played, he was DH. Little breeze blowing out towards left field to start our ball game. Kipnis stands in. Pitch will be taken for a strike. We're underway. Big 20-game hit streak, of course, for him. He's hitting 30 out of 75 during the streak. He's not had a home run during the hit streak. 6 RBIs. And will take the pitch on the inside corner for a strike and looks back in a hurry. Larry Vanover, home plate umpire. If that's going to be the strike zone, hitters will be coming up with bats moving.
I thought, and I mean, obviously I'm a little biased, I suppose, try to be somewhat neutral up here, but that was a strike. It was a good 2-seam fastball that ran back, and right comes back with a breaking ball, overhand hook that misses.
Kipnis comes into the ball game among the leaders. Believe it or not, he's 2nd in average now. He has actually lost first place in the American League batting average race as Cabrera's moved ahead of him. Miguel Cabrera hitting .354. Kipnis hitting .351 right now. He does, however, lead in hits. He's reached the 100 mark. There are only a couple of major leaguers who have done that. Kipnis is at exactly 100 hits. D. Gordon is the major league leader with 111. 2-2 delivery to him. A chopper down to first base, and it'll trickle foul.
Yeah, so we talked about what can happen when you come out of, and it's really not out of nowhere. Last year, Kipnis with the oblique problem. Altuve won a batting title, had the most hits last year with 225, and you know he's on one of those paces. Maybe a little bit more pop than Jose Altuve, but again, Altuve a big part of what goes on down in Houston, leading the American League West.
And a swing and a miss. Jimenez. That's what he's done all year with those pitches.
You know, Gary, we talked about 2 different fastballs. I think this is a 4-seamer. So again, a little bit quicker. Doesn't have the same movement, even though it does run. So in early on, tried to get him out with a splitter and a hook, and then contrary to his last start against the Inland, Kipnis led off that game with a base hit in Cleveland. Today he punches him out.
Here's Lindor. Real good speed will bring Manny Machado in at third base. Lindor, the rookie, a switch hitter. He had a 2 for 5 in the ball game yesterday. I really like the way he is performing defensively and at the plate.
Well, yeah, he is a switch hitter, and he got the first one, a ground ball back up the middle off of Wei Chen, then a nice line drive to left off of Brad Brock.
Most of his at-bats left-handed, 8 for 24, including the 1 home run since being called up. That'll be foul back weakly off the end of the bat, and a 1-ball 2-strike count. Lindor came up from AAA on the 14th of this month. He played 58 games with the Columbus Clippers, hit .281, couple of home runs, 22 RBIs. 1-2 delivery, a ground ball. Machado benefits from being in. Plenty of time to get the out.
Take a look at the Oriole defense, and it has been superlative. Pierce, Jones, Davis. Still remember the great play that Pierce made up in Boston. Jones has won 4 Gold Gloves. little different look. We saw Chris Davis on Friday night in right. He's over there today. Machado, Hardy, Flaherty, and then Parmelee. Chris Parmelee, who can play all over the place. And a very sure-handed defender, both in the outfield and especially over where he's playing today. And
third game, Jim, for him at first.
Don't want to forget Caleb Joseph, of course. He's doing the catching.
Yes, sorry. And 2 down. So trying for the 1-2-3 inning. Here is Brantley. And he will take the pitch for a strike. He had a 1 for 5 in the opener. 3 hits, 12 at bats against the Orioles this season for Michael Brantley. He has gone 2 for 7 with a home run off Jimenez in his career. Off-speed pitch, that's in there for a strike right now. The Cleveland hitters aren't happy about it. The ball to Jimenez is throwing nothing but Ks as he's putting strikes all over the place. And now a little discussion with the Cleveland bench by Larry Vanover.
I mean, that's maybe a tad low. Doubleheader, even though they're split.
0-2 count. That'll be in the dirt. Brantley's the toughest in the league to strike out. Contact hitter.
Yeah, even when he, throws an 0 for 4 at you, which he did the other night, he still hits some balls hard. And I don't know, for good hitters, and he certainly is one, coming off a year where he hit 327, hit over 20 home runs, stole over 20 bases, just short of 100 RBIs. Not too many people don't like to hit in this part.
Brantley with a 1-2, and he'll take that one to second base. It'll be played by Flaherty. Over to Parmelee, and a good start. Jimenez retires the side in order. Oriole lineup with Jones back in it. We'll take a look at it in a minute. The Gnomes will be given out for game 2 coming up tonight. Take a look at the Orioles starting lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Machado, Paredes, and Jones, Davis, Pearson, Parmelee, Hardy, Flaherty, and Joseph this season against Cleveland, as he's done against so many spectacular numbers.
Take a look at Trevor Bauer. Comes on for the Indians. The number 6 and 4 on the year. A lot of fastballs. Loves to pitch in. A walk every 2 innings. Breaking ball, big power curveball, occasional changeup. You can see the ERA, but again, the walks, 41 of them in 84 innings. So again, almost one. The lefties don't hit him. Righties have a little bit better chance. 5 of the 8 home runs. And the other thing is, this will be his 7th starter on the road. 6 of them, 5 runs on the road. He's been outstanding.
Manny Machado will take it for a strike. The Orioles shortstop has another hit streak going. He's hit successfully in the last 8 games, including a 1 for 4 in the opener on Friday. He'll go after the second pitch and pop it up first base. Do you see Santana? Kipnis wanted that ball, and Santana went no, no, no. In fact, he stiff-armed him and made the catch.
Well, you got a former catcher, and then you got a second baseman, Kipnis. He goes, no, get out of here. I'll get it.
and almost didn't.
You're right. Bradley Bourne and Murphy, a little different look in the outfield for Terry Francona. Urshela, young player we saw. Lindor, another youngster. Kipnis leading the world in hitting in the American League. Santana, and then Yan Gomes behind the plate in game 1.
Here is Paredes. The Oriole DH, a 3 for 4 in the opener in this series. He continues to absolutely astound. 319 batting average. He's moved up into the top 10 in averages in the league. He is 6th starting the day in the American League, and he will foul that one away.
Yeah, red hot. Look at those numbers. 444. A couple of home runs. 330 hitter. When he hits from this side of the plate, switch hitter. Big hit. In fact, big hits the other night, lefty and righty.
0-2 delivery on the way to him. Paredes will foul it off. And then another thing about Jimmy is that the tougher the situation at the plate, the better he is. When the bases are empty, he's hitting 295. If there are runners on, he hits 351. If they're in scoring position, he hits 455, the best in the majors. And if there are 2 outs in scoring position, 647. So it just gets better the tougher the situation for Paredes.
Yeah, I mean, he's had one of those exceptional years. One of those years. There's his hitting instructor, Scott Coolbaugh, on the right, and that ball just misses, and you know their bench is going to chirp a little bit. But that ball off the corner. You know, Scott Coolbaugh started in spring training. Get ready to hit, get your hands, your feet, whatever it takes. Kind of like throwing strikes. It doesn't really matter. Everybody's different. But are you in a position to hit? And Paredes is, and he got in trouble. I finally got tired of looking at it. I said, will you please start swinging at strikes? That's all. And, I'm sure they've been telling him that all year long, but he was so hot, Gary, he thought he could hit everything.
Yep. 3-2 delivery, and that's just going to miss inside, and he'll pick up a walk. That is the 42nd walk surrendered by Trevor Bauer, and that is tops in free passes in the league. And here comes Adam Jones. Crowd will welcome him back.
Well, that's kind of a surprise in a sense, because they're giving away hats, going to give away the Buck Showalter gnome tonight. Was supposed to be last night, and now you get the bonus. You get to see Adam Jones, well rested, coming off that right shoulder bone bruise.
Adams was hitting when he went out. I mean, he was hit 315 over a 14-game span, 4 home runs, 9 RBIs in the 14 games before the shoulder took him out of the lineup. He goes after the first pitch he sees back. Urshela is over there, and he will put it away. So Jones is retired, and there are 2 down here in the first inning. Adam didn't waste any time getting the bat moving.
Well, he usually doesn't. I mean, it was a changeup, but it had a movement like a cutter. And the one thing about Bauer, I mean, we're looking at a former #1 third guy in 2011, picked by the Diamondbacks, of all the players chosen that year.
He's out of UCLA.
Yeah.
Yep. He had a 38-4 record at UCLA. Played there for 3 seasons. Native of California. Went to Santa Clarita High School. And Chris Davis up. Chris will take the pitch for a strike. Chris, he's got a 6-game hit streak going. He had a 1 for 4 to continue it on Friday night.
Yeah, we'll see, because he likes the ball out over the plate. And Bauer, his command, he loves to come in on hitters, righties and lefties.
Runner on first, 2 down. 0-1 delivery on the way to Davis, up high.
Yeah, he tried to do it right there and missed it. So you can see, even though we've seen Chris Davis, who's been hitting really well, got a 6-game hit streak, all of a sudden getting to a few more balls inside. So the swing, been working on it since spring training, trying to just maybe be able to cover the inside third of the plate.
1-1 delivery to him. Very close again. He's missed on a couple that have been just off the mark on the inside part of the plate to Chris. For Bauer, his record against the Orioles is 0-1. Second career start. Charged with a loss back May 25 against the Orioles here at Camden Yards. 2-1 delivery on the way, and that's going to go right into the shift. Lindor, the shortstop, right where he needed to be. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. Later in our ball game today, brought to you by Miller Lite. Adam Jones thought he had a great line before the game when he found out he was going to be in. He said, I'm ready to start a new consecutive game streak to chase Cal. Look at this. Only a decade to go, and you'll be there.
Well, actually, more than that.
More than that, yeah. A couple of decades.
2,632.
Taken for a strike, as Murphy's only had one at bat on Friday. Came on as a pinch hitter. He is 3 for 15 lifetime against Jimenez. He and Michael Bourne, who's in the lineup, have faced Jimenez more than anybody else in the Cleveland lineup.
Yeah, kind of a platoon guy. They signed him a 2-year deal and an option for next year. 4 home runs, 3 of them off the bench as a pinch hitter.
Murphy batting cleanup in the ball game. Pitch will be taken away. The Indians have been pitching extremely well, especially on the road, but have not been able to score runs to go with it. Their team ERA on the road is second in the league. Swung on and missed as that one dropped off the table.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's thrown a lot of really good fork balls, splitters, whatever you want to call. Split your fingers. You can see it right there. And the ball, I mean, it looks like on our cameras it's tumbling, but just imagine. About 7-8 mile per hour difference between that and the fastball, and you read fastball and then the bottom drops out. That's why it's so hard to hit. That was probably as good a one as he's thrown all year.
Santana's got a 4-game hit streak. Carlos Santana, switch hitter, goes after the first pitch, pops it up, coming back with a long look. It'll be in the seats. Caleb Joseph taking a look at it. Santana is sitting 220 right, 217 left-handed. All of his home runs have come from this side of the plate. Jim and I were saying before the ball game, just looking at numbers, will he be the next switch hitter not to be one?
Yeah, well, we've seen Sandoval do that. He certainly went over there, and of course it's his decision. I remember just talking about when you talk to the players, hitting instructors, they say, well, the player has to make up that mind. It's just he hadn't hit a home run in 90 at bats from the other side. Doesn't see as many lefties.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Jimenez with a 247 by left-handers, 257 by right-handers. 7 home runs, 5 have been hit by lefties. A predominantly stacked lefty lineup. 1-2 delivery on the way. That is going to miss. The only right-handers he's going to see, Yan Gomes, who is going to be doing the catching here in game 1. Is hitting in the number 7 spot. You get left-handers switch hitters the rest of the way through the lineup. And who wants it? It'll be played in left. Plenty of time for Steve Pearce to get in. 2 down. Celebrate summer at Oriole Park. Pick up the 2015 Birdland Summer 6-pack. Any 6 remaining games, it's your choice. You save up to 20% off the cost of single game tickets. You can build it around rivalry games or popular promotions. For details, Orioles.com/6-pack or 888-848-BIRD. Don't forget now, game 2 is going to be tonight. It's a split doubleheader. 7:05 first pitch, and there are tickets remaining for the ball game. So you can show up and get them. Go online or call to have them reserved. And it is going to be the Buck Showalter Garden Gnome night for the night game today. 0-1 pitch on the way and a swing and a miss as he went up.
Yeah, Moss, as we mentioned, Ubaldo did pitch against Cleveland, and walks kind of got him out of that game. Only gave up 1 run, 5 strikeouts, 6 walks, and Moss, he walked twice. Gomes, you talked about, he hit single double.
Moss has had good luck against Jimenez, of 5 for 13 with a home run.
Well, he did hit a home run on Friday night. High slider off of Wei and Chen.
That's a base hit.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been more perfectly placed. It's the old swinging bunt with a shift on. Manny Machado was at shortstop, so there was nobody over there. So there's a single for Moss.
Yeah, even if you have the conventional defense, I'm not sure you're going to make this play. Power hitter, you still would be shifted over a little bit.
Well, the base hit, first one for Cleveland.
He'll scamper down to first and say thank you.
Moss, the DH for game 1. Here is Yan Gomes. He had an 0 for 3 on Friday. He has gone 3 for 6 though against Jimenez in his career. Menes has been very tough here at Camden Yards this year. His record 4-1 at home. ERA at home is 2.48.
So we saw it with Eduardo Rodriguez. The minute he had to go to the stretch, of course that was 10 consecutive hitters. It's a little bit different. I always, even nobody getting on, when you take your 9 warm-up pitches, you take a couple of them from the stretch just in case somebody gets on. So Moss is on. As we mentioned, Gomes single double the last time they faced each other.
6 consecutive first pitch strikes prior to the ball 1 delivery to Yarn Gomes out of the stretch. 2-0 delivery on the way, and that's going to miss down low. So the count immediately goes to 3-0.
Yeah, Ubaldo in the pregame today did a session out of the bullpen with Rick Dempsey, and was talking about how, changes in his windup, hands go down a little bit so he can swing his arm. There's a strike. And that's the difference. Ultimately, you get to the same place in your windup, stretch your windup, but it's just different. The timing, maybe the sequencing of what your hands and your legs do.
He's got a 3-ball 1-strike count with Moss on at first base. Yan Gomes, 3-1 delivery to him up the middle, right into the shift. Flaherty will go to the bag, and that's that. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. And Menes against Bauer, the starters in game 1. $500 for being selected, $500 more for every Orioles home run hit today. Play baseball box scratch offs, win up to $50,000 or enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com/baseball.
Well, this is the way Trevor Bauer, he get 9 warm-ups, a little Happy Gilmore of pitchers. And now he does the long coat. We mentioned that he was the #1 draft choice. He was minor league pitcher of the year for the Diamondbacks in his first year, and then they traded him. He's not exactly a conventional thinker. Certainly working for him this year. Didn't get along with, I think, Miguel Montero, who now with the Cubs was the catcher. He was headstrong. Next thing you know, he's with the Indians, and they're happy to have him.
First ball hitting again, Steve Pearce outside of first. And just out of reach over the railing. Santana about a glove too far away.
I'm surprised he didn't stiff arm a fan to get to the one after he did that to Kipnis. But he gets there in plenty of time, so now it's just a matter of how long your arms are. There is a young lady trying to catch it, maybe, except it's about 5 feet away from it. Good thing.
So an 0-1 count. Infield will shift around, not completely, but claim to pull.
Whoa.
And he won't be able to pull that one right smack dab in the middle.
Yeah, boy, that's got to hurt, right? You got those trigger points that come right into the scapula, and it looked like that's kind of where it hit it. I mean, not wrist or hands, but extremely There's like a junction in the back of your shoulder, and I think that's where Steve Clears got punked.
Wow. That'll be the second hit batter for Bauer this year.
Well, you notice the way I mean, if you're going to get hit, at least, I mean, that's almost in the middle of the back. But he rolled into it, which is that if you're going to take a ball inside, you get your wrist and hands and fingers out of the way.
Orioles get the leadoff man on. That ball is pumped by Parmalee over towards the line. Murphy will get there. Runner halfway back. So Parmalee is retired and one away.
Yeah, a little on the end of the bat, Gary. I think when you get a man on first, you want to get a fastball to hit. You want to try to hook it in the hole. Sometimes you get that first to third situation a little bit more difficult here at Camden Yards because of the smallness of the park. But it's a nice approach. Now, of course, Bauer says, hey, 1 pitch, 1 out. I like that.
You see the Orioles jumping on all these first pitches. Here is Hardy with a runner at first base now and 1 down. The Orioles this season have led much of the year going after first pitches. They right now are second to Texas in batting average on first pitches at 358. Texas is 377. Steve Molesky of MASNsports.com did some research on that, and incredibly, I thought, there are 13 American League teams, that's 13 out of 15, who are hitting over 300 swinging at the first pitch. That's an enormous average, and to have 13 out of 15.
And putting it in play.
Well, yeah, I mean, but all averages are in play.
Well, no, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, it's not like you just swing at first pitch.
Yeah.
When you look at the numbers, and I didn't realize you really started looking at numbers, on the daily course of doing our games and whatever, that most hitters hit 300
on first pitch.
On 0-0.
Yep.
Yeah.
3-0 delivery. I mean, around baseball, the talk forever has been go there, take a pitch, get a look at it. Well, no.
Yeah. Well, and then of course, the money ball, the Billy Bean, Oakland, get some guys who can hit home runs, strike out. Doesn't matter if they steal bases because that's counterproductive and so on and so on. But even their theory was if you get a good pitch, you can hit it or you can swing at it.
Hardy goes after it up top. Count goes to 3-2. And I also believe you're going to see more of that in this day and age because as we continually talk about, there is no such thing as a fastball count anymore. And probably your best chance at seeing a fastball when the count 0-0 or you're ahead in the count is going to be on first pitch. So if that's what's thrown to you, and runner goes, ground ball towards short. Lindor, 1. Turn the double play. Nice quick flip on the underhand to Kipnis at second base by Lindner. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. 2 pitchers starting out, getting the outs they need. Zip, zip.
Five and 15. Orioles will be there the week after next. Astros, Orioles know about that. Lost 3 out of 4. Orioles, of course, very good at home, 23-13. Blue Jays home run derby every time they play at home, and then with the exception of Gallardo, who actually shut him out yesterday. Impressive performance after what they hit 4 home runs the night before.
Here is Michael Bourne back into the lineup. He only had 1 at bat on Friday. He has seen Jimenez for 17 at bats, more than any other Cleveland Indian in the lineup. He's 4 for 17. Urshela, then the top of the order, Kipnis due up, and that's going to be in there for a strike.
Yeah, the whole deal about Michael Bourne was to do exactly what he's doing here, become a leadoff hitter, whether it's leading off the game or in the inning, get on, steal some bases. And not healthy last year, and then not as productive as they would like or he would like this year.
They took him out of the leadoff spot on April 26. Just was not producing. Numbers have gone up since as he's hit down in the lower part of the order, generally in this 7 or 8 area in the lineup for Terry Francona's ball club.
Yeah, and if he'll throw the splitter 2-1, which he just did, and he couldn't see it because he waved at it, he'll throw it any count.
2-2. Thought he had it, didn't get it. 3-2. Bourne's waiting on an MLB ruling. Friday he had a telephone conference appealing a 1-game suspension for bumping a home plate umpire at the game at Wrigley in June 16. Hasn't heard yet. He's gone, and that's 3 strikeouts for Evaldo.
Yeah, Murphy went down on the splitter. Bourne goes down on the splitter, and Kipnis started the game with a 92-mile-per-hour fastball. And once again, confident to throw it any count. Yeah.
At home.
Yeah, well, there you Pineda, Samardzija, David Price, Taijuan and Walker, the young right-hander. We saw him when Seattle was in, and then Jimenez.
Urshela goes after the first pitch. This is their young Colombian-born third baseman, and only 23 years old, playing, however, in his 7th pro season. And that pitch, a breaking ball, will be down. 1 ball, 1 strike count. He had a 1 for 3 on Friday, good enough to continue a 5-game hit streak. He's gone 5 for 18 during the streak. The 1-1 pitch, that's going to be on the outside corner and at the knees for a strike. And Jimenez jumping ahead again.
Well, it's been the key to success, and because the minute he does that, he's got 3 ways to get you out: fastball, breaking ball, or splitter.
Way to go. Whoa! Called him for going around Toby Basner at first base.
This is what Toby's looking at. Yep, that's it. Didn't want to swing, but the bat traveled far enough to call him out.
So a quick 2 outs on strikeouts.
And not only did he call him out, he did it emphatically.
As
you got to hurt your shoulder.
As taught in umpiring school, though. Be emphatic. Be confident. Yeah. Here's Kipnis.
Whether you got it right or you got it wrong,
be confident. Strikeout victim his first time up. Kipnis with a 2 for 4 in the only times he has seen Jimenez. 0-1 delivery to him, and that's going to miss down low. Kipnis now 6 for 16 against the Orioles this season. This is the 5th game these teams have played. The Orioles have won 3 out of the previous 4. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Outfield shaded to left. Fouls the ball right straight back.
Yeah, there's the one that's hittable. A little bit up, a little bit in the middle of the plate, but just enough movement. If you want to understand baseball, all you have to do is look at Jason Kipnis. 218 in April, American League Player of the Month, 429 in May, 380 coming into the day.
And a swing and a miss on a great pitch down and in. Boy, Jimenez is on. That's 5 strikeouts. He strikes the side out here in the 3rd. during infield practice on an errant warm-up throw in the head. He does not have a concussion. Andrew McCutchen got hit on the elbow by a pitch. The X-rays came back negative. He's going to start wearing armor, he said. Hanley Ramirez hit by a pitch on Wednesday. He's now going back to Boston for an MRI to see if they need to DL him. And of course, Giancarlo Stanton, the world's home run leader, out 4 to 6 weeks with that broken hamate bone in the left hand. Be careful out there. Here, no score as we go to the bottom half of the third inning. Ryan Flaherty will lead it off. Trevor Bauer's first pitch will be foul back.
Yeah, his velocity normal is around 93, at least the average fastball, 93.5, somewhere in that range. So maybe hadn't hit it, but very comfortable with throwing it, and then throws his other pitches off it, which is the way. He's only 24, the way young pitchers should pitch.
13 wins, 16 losses, his career numbers. Pitch will be taken up high for a ball. We're going to see a major league debut in the night game tonight of the doubleheader. Toru Murata from Japan is going to make his major league debut. Been called up by Cleveland against Chris Tillman. 1-1 delivery, and will stay away from the pitch. That's away 2-1.
Yeah, an organizational guy is the way they described him. Comes out of Japan, originally signed by the Yomiuri Giants.
2 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way to him. Flaherty, a floater that caused him to freeze.
Yeah, that'll
appropriately so.
Yeah, it'll get your attention. Well, you're looking fastball. You talked about right there. You said there are no such things as fastball counts. He's looking fastball, and he threw him a change.
Then comes with a fastball.
So you can see he loves the pitch. Mickey Callaway, the pitching coach for the Indians, who's done a terrific job over the last couple of years, just said, hey, he likes to go in, and maybe that's one of the reasons he walks a few more people. But again, he can pitch in and out with the best of them.
3-2 delivered to second on the line. They'll play it short hopped to get the out. Kipnis right there to pick it up. Flaherty out of there, 1 down, third inning. Tomorrow, Oriole infielder Jimmy Paredes will be signing autographs, meeting fans from 11 until noon at the official Orioles team store, the York Galleria. And author Jim Henneman's going to join him. He'll be on hand signing copies of the Orioles' new legacy book, 60 Years of Orioles Magic. That's tomorrow, 11 until noon, the official Orioles team store in the York Galleria for Paredes and Jim Henneman on that great coffee table book in the history of the Orioles. Pitch is a strike on the inside corner. Caleb Joseph, an 0 for 4 on Friday, and an 0 for 6 this year against Cleveland. He's only had 1 hit ever against the Indians. 1 for 19. And a 1 ball, 1 strike count.
Yeah, I was sitting with Jim Henneman and then the longtime 88-year-old Vince Bagley. Fabulous guy. Jim Henneman said that book weighs about 5 pounds.
Ground ball up the middle, make it 2. So Caleb Joseph gets on with a 1-out single here in the third inning. The Orioles get their first base hit, and that'll bring up Manny Machado. There you see today Bobby Dickerson, the appropriate person, because he helped Manny convert to third base. The Player of the Week award given to him prior to the ball game today.
Yeah, Bobby, a tough love coach coming up through the minors.
Has it ever worked?
Oh, has it?
Popped out his first time up. 1 down, 1 on. There it goes to the backstop. It comes back to the catcher Gomes, but there's no play. So a wild pitch, which will be the 5th of the year, thrown by Bauer.
Yeah, a little cut fastball that just bounces. Maybe it was actually a curveball. I don't know. Hard something that was a dirt ball, and it gets right by Yan Gomes. Kind of scooted right through the legs. And with 1 out, big play.
So Manny Machado, first chance with a runner in scoring position in the ball game today. 1-0 delivery to him, fouled straight back into the screen. Orioles continue on top of the majors with a .319 batting average with runners in scoring position, and Manny Machado has been one of the reasons why, hitting at .321
well, he's
in
done
these situations.
Yeah, he's done that the last 3 years. It's like early on he was at 200 for the first month. You figure that'll change.
1-1 delivery to him, check swing.
Well, see, that's the ability to pitch in, and yeah, he can get you out of the way, but not a lot of young pitchers. As we mentioned, Trevor Bauer is only 24. And his third year of really, or maybe second full year of starting. There's his pitching coach, Mickey Callaway. So he can run the ball in on you.
Machado will readjust the gloves here with a 1-ball 2-strike count. Bauer's right about at the major league average with runners in scoring position at 246 against him in these situations. 1-2 count. Manny Machado will take it down low. This is how good the Orioles have been with that number with runners in scoring position. And yes, there's a long way to go, but the highest records ever, and this stat did not come into existence until 1974, is owned by the Cardinals at 330, and they're the top rankings. And you see the Orioles right now at 319. If they could hold that, would be second ever highest average with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, the Cardinals went to the World Series. The Red Sox, way down on the bottom, went to the World Series. In fact, I pitched against that team. And right here, Yan Gomes saying, okay, what do we want to do? You see, up high and tight, and then try to hook them down and away. Missed.
Machado with a 2-ball 2-strike count. Orioles took advantage of these situations. First game. Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way, and reached out and fouled that one back. As we come into this Sunday afternoon, the Orioles are only a game and a half out in the American League East. Tampa Bay still on top, but only a half game ahead of the Yankees. Toronto's 2 out, Boston 9 games behind. No big win streak in the American League East. 2 games in a row is the biggest for New York and Baltimore. And that pitch will miss outside, so Manny works it full. 3-2.
Yeah. Well, that's what we were talking. And so he came in with 41. R.A. Dickey, knuckleballer. Then Sanchez, young pitcher. And then Chris Tillman, big difference. He'll pitch game 2. People say, look at that. More walks this year.
Yep. 3-2 delivery on the way. Runner off second. Slow roller that's going to go foul. Yeah, Bauer's got interesting numbers. I mean, the fact he's well below hits per innings pitched, but the walks obviously increase his whip number, so he's working with people on most innings, but he's also 8th in strikeouts per 9 innings.
You know, the amazing thing, though, is in 43 innings at home in Cleveland, where you think he'd be comfortable, he's given up 31 runs. Huge.
3-2 delivery.
Yeah, you could see he could pitch. I mean, he's throwing the minute that Caleb Joseph got to second, he goes, you know what? Jimenez is pitching great, and I'm going to throw the kitchen sink trying to get Manny Machado, as we mentioned, AL Player of the Week, 30 hits, 16 games, 16 RBIs in those 16 games. Tough out.
Machado battling here. 3-2. Caleb Joseph, a base hit, wild pitch, is on its second. Long look. Manny needs a timeout. Won't get it. Ball's put up in the air to right field. Runner halfway. Murphy has it. Joseph's not going. Throw high arcing thing to third base. So there are 2 down here in the 3rd inning. Take a look at our Maryland Live Casino. Inside the numbers.
That's what we were talking about, Bauer. So 6 road starts, 5 runs. Incredible run. Louis Tiant, 1968, the year of the pitchers. Mound went from 12 inches to 10 because of Tiant. Clean 131. I think Tiant had a 165 ERA, and then you can look at Tom Candiotti, knuckleballer, and then Ray Lamb. I think he was with the Red Sox, maybe.
So Paredes, number 1, with runners in scoring position, has got one out there at second base. There are 2 down. 4:55 in these situations. And he puts one in the air to right field. It is back. It's deep. Way back. Hey, goodbye. Home run. Jimmy Paredes puts somebody on, and he will deliver. And the Orioles put 2 on the board and take the lead.
Boy, there's a wow factor in that home run. Boy, I sought to see a lot of pitches the first time up when he worked the walk. And I mean worked the walk. He didn't get walked. He worked it. And this is a bomb to right center field.
9 home runs and 36 RBIs for Jimmy Paredes. And the Orioles go on top.
Boy, you looked at me in Boston, Gary, and said, boy, this is the Orioles this year, Steve Pearce.
I mean, they have got another case of lightning in a bottle with Jimmy Paredes. Here's Adam Jones, pitch outside.
So take a look right here. I mean, he tries to come in and he doesn't get it there. Even though it looked like Gomes kind of went in, and then I don't know where the target was, somewhere in the middle of the plate, and that's where it ended up. Well, Bauer's probably going to get another mile or two after that home run. 104 miles per hour off the bat.
Orioles now have 6 home runs against the Indians in this being the 5th game played. 1-1 delivery on the way. Adam Jones. We're talking about Bauer. The Orioles now with 2 runs have already gone over his road ERA. Bauer's got the highest earned run average at home and the second lowest earned run average on the road at 1.10. Swing and a miss by Adam. Believe it or not, Chris Archer's got a road ERA of 0.91.
I don't know how he ever gives up a run with his stuff. He's got 2 of the best pitches in the American League, sinker and slider. Not to mention a third pitch, real good changeup.
2-2 delivery to Adam. Back in action today. Hard ground ball to third. Urshela is up with it. Makes the throw. Jones is retired. But the Orioles take the lead as they're up 2-0. Jimmy Paredes 2 down. Caleb Joseph on ahead of him. And he pumped a no-doubter to the power alley in right center. Book your low fare now at southwest.com and by visitannapolis.org. Find the Chesapeake experience at visitannapolis.org. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer on this Sunday afternoon. First of the split doubleheader, 7 o'clock tonight, and there are tickets available for Game 2, and it will be the Gnome giveaway night. The DAP caps are on for Game 1. The Gnomes will be given out for Game 2. So you can get your tickets. Log on to Orioles.com. You can print your tickets from home. Here's Lindor. Francisco will take the pitch on the outside corner for a strike. He grounded out his first time up.
Yeah, and of course, as a young player, he doesn't even turn around and say anything to Larry Vanover. That ball kind of ran off the corner. Right, throw it to the glove.
Ground ball to the hole. Flaherty over. 360s it. And gets the out. 1 down. On Tuesday, when the Orioles take on the Rangers at 7:05, fans are going to receive a Bud Norris designed My Home, My Team Orioles t-shirt. It's the next in the team's player designed t-shirt series. Celebrate your home team with this great Orioles collectible. For tickets, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Brantley grounded out his first time up. Talking about Archer with Tampa Bay, the Red Sox have touched him up for 4 runs, 4 hits in 5 innings. Masterson is back in the starting rotation for Boston. He's gone 4 innings, given up no runs, 3 hits, and had 6 strikeouts. Right now it's 4-0 Red Sox in Tampa Bay, bottom of the 5th. 1-0 delivery on the way to Brantley's inside.
Yeah, these are the kind of counts you talked about, how Brantley has hit him well, and he's coming off a great year. It did hurt his back in spring training, set him back a little bit, but these are the counts where he gets a lot quicker.
That may fall, and it will to left field the other way. Pierce will get it in. A 1-out single. Let's take a look at our Major League Notebook page on the East wins. How about this from Dan Shaughnessy of the Globe? We haven't seen much of Larry lately. No change in Fenway's chain of command has been announced, but Lucchino has been virtually invisible. It appears his powers are diminished. And the Sportsnet, Ryan Dixon, Canada. The mound questions keep mounting for Toronto in the aftermath of Matt Boyd's first Major League start. Kid goes out, gives up 3 home runs and a 4-0 loss. Could have been worse. What are they going to do for starting pitching?
Yeah, watch a little of his game. I mean, anytime you come to the big leagues, his family was there. Texas had lost, 6 out of 7, but they came back after getting shellacked. And as I mentioned, Gallardo pitched a masterful game up in Toronto. 8 2/3 innings, a 3-hit ball. That's pitching.
0-1 delivery on the way, and that's going to be outside. Runner at first, 1 out. Murphy up. Strikeout victim.
Yeah, another situation where I know it's 2-0 game, but 4th inning, you could just bunt one down the third baseline, get on for Santana, who had a big hit in the last game that Jimenez pitched against Cleveland.
1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way. Breaking ball inside. Garibaldo this season, 54% of the outs in the year. He hasn't lost in the last 7 starts, 3 wins and 4 no decisions. The last loss he took was back on May 16. It was against the Angels, and he pitched a good ball game then. And when he left the game, it was only 2-1. That one's off the fists and back.
Yeah, the run support last year at 360, and this year at 590. Almost 6 runs a game. It doesn't mean you get it every time. That's your average runs. And you were asking the question on Friday. That is while you're in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, the 2 versions of that run scored in the whole game that you started, or run scored while you're still in the game. And the ones we show you, we hope, we try at all times to make it run scored while the pitcher's in the game.
Yeah, back in the day, I think it would be how many runs they score because you pitch deeper in the ball game. Now a lot of it does. You can get them early. I mean, you look last year, I never knew this number. Wei and Chen won 16 games. 8 of them were not even what they call quality starts. Now that would be 3 runs in 6 innings, or you didn't go 6 innings. Of the 15 wins that Bud Norris had, 7 of them. And Kenny Singleton gave me that number on the way back. I said, ooh, I didn't know that.
It's a different game, isn't it?
Goodbye.
He got it. Strikeout number 6.
That ball, you know, if you went up the home plate, you go, I get to actually move the ball in the strike zone. Watch this ball run back. The ball ran back 5 inches. And Murphy gives up on it. I mean, watch this. Oh, no, it's not going to be a strike. Yes, it was. And it's not low, and it's not outside. Now, he may think it's a shade low, but if you haven't adapted almost halfway through the season that they're calling the low strike pretty much every night, you got to wear your golf shoes to home plate the way the strike zones come down. Put them on.
9 iron. Carlos Santana. Santana flied out. Brantley's on at first base. 2 down. Each team with a couple of hits. The Orioles, though, the 2 runs on the Paredes home run. Shift fully in effect here against Santana. And there's the off-speed pitch.
Well, we saw him hit the home run off Darren O'Day, which tied it up 3-2, and it was, I mean, talk about golf. It really, of course, it went a little farther than a 9 iron, but it was like a hybrid, so to speak.
Santana waiting on it. He'll go after one that's up in the air. He was really swinging at pitches in the first game and doing the same thing here in this one. I say that only because he has drawn the 2nd most walks in the league at 51.
Well, you get the feeling when you watch him hit, he's very aggressive anywhere close to the strike zone, but the borderline pitches he's not swinging at.
1-2 delivery to him down low.
And the other thing is, you touched on it, just the fact that they play better on the road. They're 18-16, and they're well under 500 at home, and 15-23. But they don't score a lot of runs either in places. So maybe trying to do a little bit more.
Their runs, their offense is about the same at home or road. Not very good. Swing and a miss again, down and away. Jimenez putting on a show. That's 7 strikeouts through 4 innings for the Orioles starter. Orioles lead it 2-0.
We mentioned this Friday. You love when your minor league teams are playing well. Norfolk's playing great. Look at Bowie, what they've been able to do. Rick Peterson, the minor league pitching coordinator. We saw Michael Givens that last inning up in Boston, and Rick said, hey, if he can do what he's doing down there, he'll be able to pitch in the big leagues. We saw that. Great arm. And Terry Doyle, a minor league free agent who's pitched for many, many years. He'll turn 30 in November. He even pitched in Japan. So he's pitching very well, and it never hurts to have enough or more pitching.
Packed house. SRO standing looking over the railing in right field by Utah Street.
Got hats to cover the dome.
And Chris Davis on a nasty pitch delivered by Bauer. Davis lined out to second base, his first time up. Orioles, with the 2 runs they picked up in this game, now have a plus 44. Their run differential on the season. Indians are a minus 29 with the 2 added to their totals. 0-2 count. Davis to be followed by Pierce and then Parmalee. As the Orioles season high 5 over 500. Look to expand that here in this doubleheader. Only the second doubleheader the Orioles have played this year. It is the first doubleheader for the Indians. 1-2 pitch. Davis could not hold up. Tag put on, and he is a strikeout victim.
Yeah, really the first big overhand curveball he's thrown for a strike, and he's always had a good one. And this is the perfect place to throw it. You trust your catcher. Ball hit the top of the plate. Already saw one go through the legs of Yan Gomes. It also skidded. But that's where you're supposed to throw it, and he did.
That's his first strikeout. Here's Pierce, hit by a pitch first time up. So in this ball game, you've got Jimenez, who is 6th in strikeouts per 9 innings, coming in. He's got 7. And Bauer, who is 8th in strikeout per 9 innings, and he's got 1. 0-1 pitch to Pierce, a little wrinkle on the outside corner that time. 0-2.
Yeah, now he's going to try to go hunt some more.
Pretty good movement on that pitch.
That was a nice slider. So we've seen hook sliders. He's got a cutter. He's got a fastball. 2-seamer, 4-seamer. There's the
fouled off.
And now he's gone. Ever since the home run, he's gone up a mile or 2. He's back kind of where he is, at least on the season, on his average fastball, which is about 93.
Thought Corey Kluber showed one of the best sliders we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, and then curveballs and ability, and to add a couple and subtract.
Another bouncer out in front.
Yeah, I always thought if you can throw 94 or 5 or 3 or whatever, show them that, and then you can back off, and you can always add a little bit. I mean, if you looked at a lot of guys I pitched with Quare and McNally, boy, they could get a little extra because they understood their windup.
1-2 delivery on the way to Pierce, and that'll just miss.
And you're seeing Bauer will throw any pitch in for a young guy, any pitch. He's very confident. I mean, right there, that's changeup. He knows Pierce is a better fastball hitter.
Steve to be followed by Parmalee. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Cloud cover here, which makes it that much more comfortable. He wanted to go desperately, but it was too late. So Bauer's got 2 Ks now in a row.
Yeah, this is almost like a splitter. Watch this ball tumble, and it comes right back into the changeup. I didn't know that he threw. It's kind of almost like a splitter. A lot of movement, great location, and Steve Pierce wanted to swing, couldn't get it off his shoulders.
So Parmalee up, fly ball to right field. Chris back at first base, 3rd game he's played there for the Orioles this year. Talking about Kluber, how about your Cy Young Award winner from last year, American League? The Indians are 3-13 in games he started. They lost all 5 in April and all 5 in June when he started. Pitch taken away, 1 ball, 1 strike. And it's all about, as we've talked about, run support. His ERA is at 3.66.
Now, not pitching as well as last year because he was 249. I mean,
1-1 off the end of the bat foul.
But if you looked at what he did last year, he was good, and we saw him twice early, and then he went 9-3 over his last 12 decisions, with giving up 2 runs a game, or 2.10. And if you're good and you stay healthy, that's kind of where you like to be.
Ooh. He's gone too. Well, no sooner do we talk about Bauer not getting strikeouts than he strikes the side out here in the 4th inning. A little discussion about that strike zone too.
And I'm never gonna quit till I get what's mine. I hope you came to win, cause I'm never gonna stop till I clock that ring. To the top I climb, to the top I climb, all the way to the top I climb. And I'm never gonna quit till I get what's mine.
And the Orioles have the 2-0 lead in that climb against the Indians, who will bat here in the top of the 5th inning. Leading it off is Brandon Moss. He picked up a base hit for the Orioles. 2 runs, 2 hits. The Indians no run, 2 hits. Ubaldo Jimenez, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Trevor Bauer, a walk and 3 Ks. Delivery to Moss, and he'll take the pitch on the inside corner. He's picked up 3 home runs here in this ballpark in his career, 3 out of the 4 that he's hit against the Orioles lifetime.
Yeah, he's one of the better high ball left-handed hitting guys, and you know, a lot of lefties, they love the ball down. Brandon Moss, look at this. We talked about the reason they got him is to hit home runs. Normal is 21 to 30 home runs. Davis, Ortiz, Anthony Rizzo, terrific first baseman, and then Pedro Alvarez for the Pirates.
Here's the 2-2 delivery to him. That'll be inside.
So they get his bat. They figure it's going to help the offense. And talked about it Friday night. Arbitration eligible with Oakland. The next thing you know, he's an Indian.
Here's the full count delivery by Jimenez. That one caught a piece of the foot or leg on the way down.
Yeah, those are the kind of pitches, if you're going to try to get to Ubaldo, is you have to be able to put in play or foul off, even if it can be painful, because otherwise this is a splitter, and it's a good one. You're looking right off that right toe. You're looking for a way to get on, trailing by 2. Hadn't walked anybody. Gomes hits him well. He's on deck. And of course, Ubaldo, you know what he wants to do. Wants to put it in play somewhere.
3-2 delivery on the way. Foul back again. Ubaldo averaging 17 pitches per inning so far in this one. The Orioles starters of late have not been going deep. The Orioles through most of the month of May, the starters were 7 innings or more, 11 out of 17. But since the 30th of May, O's starters only one has gone 7 innings in the last 25. Pierce comes over and will put that away. Moss is retired. O's fans, never miss a game update, behind the scenes moment, or exclusive contest. Follow at Masson Orioles on Twitter for all the latest Orioles buzz. Again, that's at Masson Orioles on Twitter. Yan Gomes. Gomes hit into a fielder's choice. Orioles come in 4th in average, 3rd in runs per game, and 4th in home runs. The Indians are 11th in runs, tied for 12th in home runs per ball game. Orioles offense has been much more productive, averaging 4.6 a ball game on the year, and more since June 1.
Yeah, well, they get Moss. You figure Gomes, of course, he hurt his knee and missed almost all of April. Brantley had the back injury. Both of these guys hit over 20 home runs, Brantley and Gomes.
Strike there in the outside corner. They put the shift on against Gomes. Teams headed in 2 different directions. The Indians have lost 7 of their last 17. Orioles have won 16 of their last 21. 1-1 pitch on the way. He golfs that one to short. Hardy with a long throw. He got it.
Yep, toughest play in a sense. I guess it would only make it tougher if he wasn't in the shift. But that's the longest throw in baseball for an infielder, from deep shortstop, and that's where he's playing. You know, right there, and of course it rained. Of course, this is a great ballpark. Right there, set yourself. And he does, and then the perfect throw.
That'll bring Bourne up. Strikeout victim his first time up. What have you done for me lately, department? Jose Tabata broke up the no-hitter the other day when Scherzer was pitching a no-hitter. Designated for assignment by the Pirates today. Shouldn't have got that hit. 1-0 pitch is taken inside. 2-0. Count 2 down. Nobody on. The Orioles up 2-0. Paredes home run, 3rd inning. Caleb Joseph was on ahead of him with a base hit. That ball Flaherty will range for running throw. Yep. 1-2-3 inning. That is the 3rd time in 5 innings Jimenez has retired the Indians in order. 4-3. And in our Major League Notebook, this is always subject to discussion. These are just mine. You're out. Teams looking to trade probably right now already out of contention for a division. Red Sox, White Sox, Phillies, Marlins, Reds, Brewers, and Indians, who are now 10.5 out. Nails on the chalkboard, the A's, the Mariners, and the Cubs. They certainly aren't close to toast, but by the number of games out and the number of teams they got to jump over, it will not be easy.
Well, we talked about the Larry Lucchino interview, Dan Shaughnessy of the Globe. Larry said more like July, late July, right? And that's kind of coincides with the trading deadline.
Yep.
And I have an idea. And he's going to be running for mayor after that interview. It is politically correct.
Oh,
and I love Larry. I mean, he's always, a good friend and whatever, but
just leave it there.
Yeah.
That's but with a lip of lips. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery to Hardy. Line drive short. Right to Lindor.
Yeah, there's been about 3 of those. I tell you, this young man, and I only seen him now 2 games because I've been reading for him. He's their #1 draft choice. Got #1 draft choice on the mound, 1 at shortstop. It looks like he's a pretty good young player.
Looks like he's played a lot longer than he has.
He really has. Comes out of Caguas, Puerto Rico.
Here's Ryan Flaherty, Orioles second baseman, grounded out his first time up. Bauer's delivery will be popped up in the air.
In fact, you and I were doing I think a Friday night ESPN game back in maybe 1990 or 91. The first time I ever saw Robbie Alomar, who comes out of Puerto Rico, play. Now, pitched against his dad. Of course, Sandy, his brother, is on this team as a coach. And I'd never seen anybody play. So, and I played with, Bobby Grich and Davey Johnson. Never seen anybody. It's like the Baryshnikov of second baseman.
Swung on and missed.
And
you
then,
put
course,
Lindor in that category?
No, but I'm saying he has those kind of instincts. Yeah, and we have to obviously see him a lot more. And an article in the Globe today was talking about Ixlesia, who now plays shortstop, came out of the Red Sox, and talking about Xander Bogaerts, said, when I saw him coming up through the Red Sox organization, he said, I know I never could be that good. And he's gotten a lot better. But Ixlesia plays it like it's
he owns it. Yeah. 1-2 delivered to Flaherty, and that'll be taken down low for a ball.
Yeah, they're comparing him to Omar Vizquel, who won 12 Gold Gloves.
To manage one of these days sooner than later in the major leagues, in all likelihood, Omar wants to do that. Ryan Flaherty, 2 ball, 2 strike count. Bauer with a walk and 3 strikeouts. The home run picked up by Paredes for the Orioles. 2-0 lead. The 8th home run, a 9th rather. He surrendered. 4 hit by left-handers. 2-2 pitch, and Flaherty fights it off. Kansas City's got a 4.5 game lead over Minnesota, 6.5 over Detroit in the Central. Houston still leading the West. Angels 4, Texas 4 games out. National League, Washington over the Mets 3.5. Cardinals, best team in baseball, 50 wins, 8 ahead of the Pirates. And the West wide open. That ball sliced. That one's going deep. At the warning track, called in Murphy. Got a read on that one.
Yeah, a couple of good at bats by Ryan Flaherty. Nothing to show for him. Lined out to skip this the first time up. Kind of like that. Like to see the swing against righties. Probably frustrated, but that's a nice. Those are quality at bats. Right on the nose.
Caleb Joseph has the Orioles' other hit along with a home run. Came at the right time. The Orioles got those 2 hits and 2 runs in the 3rd.
Well, I told you what he said down in the locker room. He said there's this guy named Clevenger hitting .333 at Norfolk. Better get a hit, and he did.
And that one goes to short, and there's Lindor again. Good heavens. It's a 1-2-3 inning and a couple of line drives to short. The Orioles, though, in game 1 of our split doubleheader, lead at 2-0. He is on the money. He hasn't walked anybody, and he's got 7 strikeouts.
Hey, well, the baseball vernacular, he's dealing. And of course, he'd like to deal for a couple more innings. But everything's working today. I mean, you name it, strikes, breaking balls, splitters. Even when he goes 3-2 on a couple of occasions, able to get them to put the ball in play.
Looking for his first win against the Indians. He is 0-2 with an 8+ ERA. Pitch will be taken for a strike. The one time this year, non-decision in that 5-inning performance of 1 run on 6 hits in Cleveland. Urshela, that one will bounce. Urshela, the third baseman, switch hitter, batting 9th. He struck out his first time up. We'll get Kipnis and then Lindor at the top of the order.
Yeah, I was kind of looking. I remember, of course, Orlando Cabrera comes from Columbia. A terrific shortstop. In fact, he's one of the trades that Theo Epstein made in the middle of the season in 2004 because he said we wanted somebody that could shore up our defense. And Jackie Gutierrez is from Columbia. I remember him because he played on the Pirate team that beat us in '71.
That you'll remember. Ground ball up the middle. Hardy, not this time. Yeah, so a leadoff single, Urshela. Let's take a look at our upcoming schedule for the Orioles, brought to you by Mile One, offering you 20 convenient locations throughout the Baltimore area. Visit them in store or online at mile1.com.
Yeah, dropped down on a breaking ball and just left it in the middle of the plate. One thing we've seen about Giovanni Urshela, he's got a nice little stroke. Doesn't overswing. I mean, he did take a couple of almost fall down in the, but it looks like he uses the whole field, and by getting on, he becomes the setup to the guy that's got more hits than anybody else in the American League.
Here is Kipnis. Kipnis 0 for 2 on strikeouts with that 20-game hit streak. Some of the other numbers for Kipnis: he's first in doubles in the league, second in on-base percentage. He's second in multi-hit games, first in 3-hit games, first in 4-hit games, and the highest batting average against right-handed pitchers in the league, all for Jason Kipnis. He'll go after that one down the line in left field. Pierce going over. Fair territory, puts it away, and Kipnis is 0 for 3. On Wednesday, the first 20,000 fans 15 and over at the Orioles-Rangers game at 7:05 will get the Orange O's tote bag presented by MLB Network. Enjoy a great summer night out with friends and family at the ballpark. For tickets, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD.
That's perfect. Put your hat, the DAP hat, in the bag. You can put the gnome in the hat.
In the bag?
In the bag, I mean. And the hat. Put the gnome in the hat, too, because it's tiny. You can do a lot of things with that gnome.
Here's.
I mean, as long as you're here tonight to get it.
Yes. Yes. The gnome will be given away. Second game of our doubleheader. The first 25,000 fans 15 and over. There are tickets available for the ball game tonight. You can go to Orioles.com. In case you're wondering, is the gnome still around the ballpark? Yes is the answer. 0-1 delivery, slash, Jones over. He makes the running catch. Hit hard by Lindor. 2 down.
Yeah, I bet Cleveland's still wondering, can he throw or not? Yeah, we saw him playing catch. I mean, you can see him in the top of your screen. So this ball's slicing away, but gets to it so quickly. And it's, what kind of jump do you get? As a pitcher, you can always tell when you turn around on a line drive and your outfielder hasn't moved. It's when you start to go back up. And you don't have to worry about that with the Orioles. I mean, it just happens sometimes. Guys don't see it or whatever, or maybe they're better hitters than fielders. That's when you go back up third base, somewhere between third and home.
You saw Wayne Kirby directing the outfield. Here's Brantley, and he'll foul one off. Just barely got a piece of that one. Still a runner at first. Urshela 2 down.
Well, his stuff is so good to this point. Even the splitter that Kipnis hit to the left was up a little bit, but the quality of really the whole arsenal so far today, and again, I say so far because 2-0 is a precarious lead.
That's going to be a base hit. Cut off in the gap. Pierce will hold the runner. Urshela stops at second base. So Brantley's on. He's got a multi-hit game. 2 for 3, 2 singles. And with 2 away here in the 6th inning, the Indians are going to get their first chance with a runner in scoring position. Cleveland went 0 for 2 on Friday in these situations. They are 13th in the league at 226 as a team.
Yeah, Murphy, of course, is much higher than that at 314. So they get, Brantley, Kipnis, all of them over 300, at least those three hitters. And then the numbers drop precipitously.
And the pitch will be taken for a strike. So a key moment for Jimenez in the ball game with a cleanup batter up who struck out twice, 2 on and 2 down, and that 2-0 lead. That's 4 hits for Cleveland.
Yeah, normally third time through the order you could say, well, the guy's not doing this or he is doing this. He's doing everything today. I mean, if you look away, he's able to pitch in. I mean, the slider he threw to Brantley, that little wave, early count, probably the best one he's thrown. A nice mixture today, and that 30% is the splitters.
Fans rubbing for Ubaldo. Oh, 2 delivery on the way. Murphy will take it up high.
Yeah, I think they ought to try to pick the kid off at second. It would be a nice way to get out of this inning.
Urshela's got Hardy swung over defensively, so he's holding him pretty close. 1-2 delivery on the way. Murphy will take that outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And the reason I say that, even though it's two outs, he's going on contact. He keeps getting a little bigger and bigger and bigger lead.
Two delivery in the air, right field. Davis lines it up and puts it away. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. 2 are left on base. Mazda do-ups, Machado, Paredes, and Jones. The Orioles have a 2-0 lead. Our doubleheader here today, and for Ubaldo Jimenez, Jim, it seems as though each time he goes out to start, it gets even a little better for him.
Well, it is, and a lot of times when you get that extra day, you talked about that. You're wild. Not today. I haven't walked anybody, and all the pitches are very crisp. He's never beaten the Indians. Bauer doesn't give up any runs, and then Superman Jimmy Paredes comes up, and I mean, he walked himself. I mean, really worked to walk the first time, saw about 7 pitches, and then hit the first fastball. I mean, a long way, a ton out of here. And so again, I mean, there are a lot of storylines. Jones is back, but somehow you're going to have to maintain this 2-0 lead, and you like the position you're in.
It's just amazing how it changes. Remember, in spring training, first of the season, everybody's talking about what are you going to do with Ubaldo? How can you keep him in the rotation? And legitimately so, based on numbers that had come up last year. And then you enter a new season, and all of a sudden, it's a wow factor for Jimenez in a game like today. And it's not just today. I mean, he is 6-3, and the ball club's 8-6 in his 14 starts.
Well, that goes. I mean, there's a number of things you can talk about. Number one, he's a terrific guy. Forget the money, the 4-year deal. Dave Wallace helped him. He just was talking to him on them. They changed his wind along with Dom Cheedy, who came, Dom and Dave coming on last year as pitching coaches, bullpen, and I mean, they're really like a team. So they changed the windup. He pitches well last year in September, but you know, everybody go, wow, they're meaningless games. So you're on your way to a division title. But he pitched well, made some adjustments. Then they go to spring training. He threw more because he was a free agent the offseason before. He threw more. They get Ramon Martinez. And we always talk. It doesn't matter. He's 31 years old. You always want to coach people up. So they get Ramon Martinez. They're both from the Dominican. He won 20 games. A couple of more adjustments. And
Manny Machado got one way back in left field, sending him to the wall. And goodbye, home run! Manny Machado continues his hit streak to 9 games and picks up home run number 15 and his 41st run batted in.
Man, we showed you Ubaldo Menace applauding, and why not? There's another run.
He has developed into one of the game's true superstars, young as he is. Manny Machado, the Orioles have a 3-0 lead, 2 homers off Bauer in the game.
Yeah, it looked like a hanging breaking ball. Yep, curveball. And you can see the spin. It doesn't quite get to where he wants it. And then, what did they?
That ball put up in the air to the gap in right center field, back of the wall. It'll hit off the fencing. On his way to second base, Paredes. And he's in with a double. So he's got another multi-hit game, a home run and a 2-bagger. And the Orioles getting to Bauer here in the 6th.
Well, Gary, if you go back to the 5th inning, Hardy lined out, Flaherty lined out, Joseph lined out. Machado hits a home run, and now Paredes. It's another changeup. It stays up, and he's a big, strong kid. Unless you're down on the field and you actually beat Jimmy Paredes, he's a large young man. I mean, he's well built, can run, and what I like, he came out of the box again thinking triple, backed off when Murphy made a nice play off the fencing.
So the Orioles get Adam Jones up with a runner on at second base. The Orioles now with 4 hits in the game. Adam has popped out, grounded out. Orioles 1 for 2 with runners in scoring position, and another one to the backstop, and the rebound, throw it away, but a runner will stay. Backed up nicely by Brantley in left field. Another wild pitch, the second of the game for Bauer, his 6th of the year.
Now you still got to do a little better job of getting in front of it, and the ball went right through the legs. At least get the glove down. It's the second time he doesn't do it. Not easy to do, but if you know Trevor Bauer, and Gomes does, and he's a good catcher, there's your belated throw. I'm just hoping he doesn't get hit as he gets out of harm's way, but at least try to get the glove on the ground and come up.
So now a lot of ways to score.
Yeah, infield in as they have to be.
3-0 lead, and Jones trying to pick up an RBI after the home run by Machado leading off the inning, which for Lawrence Jelks, our Maryland lottery contestant, is another $500. 2 home runs in this ball game for the Orioles. 1 ball, 1 strike count. By the way, for Bauer, this is the first 2-homer game he has had this year. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Jones down the line in right field, curving foul, and out of play.
Well, they described it to Murata, as you mentioned. There's Nick Hagedorn, who we saw in Cleveland, tall, hard throwing lefty, but they described it in the Plain Dealer in Cleveland morning paper as a shooting gallery, Camden Yards, because of its intimacy, short power alleys.
Hitter's yard as it heats up, no question, but keep the ball, as we've said so many times, middle of the field, different story. 1-2, Adam Jones high in the air. It's not deep. Runner will tag. Brantley, though, will make shortstop back to make the catch, and they'll hold the runner. So Lindor went out and got it. No chance for the tag up at third base. For every Orioles walk, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield contributes $50 to the March of Dimes. 183 walks, $9,150. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. So 1 away, 1 for 3 now. Runners in scoring position today for the Orioles. That'll bring up Chris Davis. Davis has lined out and struck out. Chris is .273 in these situations on the year. Infield will stay in and stay shifted. That'll be fouled away. What a hole the other way now. You've got Urshela, the third baseman, staying fairly close to third to take away the bunt and also to hold the runner, and then everybody else is on the other side of the infield. Nobody really between third and second base. 0-1 count, 1 down. Paredes on at third base. Davis in the air. That's going to get one home. That's going to be in the gap. It'll take a hop up against the wall. Chris on his way to second base. And the Orioles get an RBI from Chris Davis and a 4-0 lead.
Yeah, nice hitting. Pretty much an afternoon of nice everything. He's trying to get one in the air, and he gets the bonus. Drills it. And pretty much out over the plate, kind of the danger zone. Great angle right here. You can see pretty much down the middle.
Chris, the Orioles leader in RBIs. He adds another to his total. That's 44 in the year for him.
They're trying to Manny, of course, trying to catch him, and then he gets one. I'll get mine another one, and it's what you're trying to do when you get those men at third, less than 2 outs.
Now Steve Pearce, RBI chance. 1 strike count on Steve, who has been hit by a pitch and struck out. So Bauer's given up a home run and 2 doubles in the inning, 2 runs. The Orioles came in with only a couple of hits, both in the third. Reaching for one that was up and away, trying to drive it, and a 2-strike count on Pearce.
Well, they got out-homered on Friday night. Of course, they were all solos by the Indians, 3-1. When J.J. Hardy hit his first home run of June, but they hit 3 solos.
Manny Machado, number 15, to lead off this inning. Pearce hitting .314 in June. 0-2 delivery to him and a swing and a miss on the pitch away. That'll be the 4th strikeout for Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, it's about as good a curveball as you can throw. Haven't seen a lot of hooks. We've seen maybe more changeups. Could see him trying to wait. I mean, he does stay back, but the curveball just so good. Doesn't make contact.
So with 2 down and a runner at second, here is Chris Parmelee. Parmelee 0 for 2 in the ball game. Few chances in these situations. 2 for 7. Takes the big rip on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and an 0-1 count. Parmelee's footwork, maneuvering around first base. One of the reasons he's at first. Chris Davis is out in right. Rick Showalter really likes the way he plays first base. He's a supreme defensive player over there. Yeah, not that Chris is bad, because he isn't.
And the other thing is Chris likes to play other positions.
Yep. Quick throw and a pickoff. Back in is Davis. Shortstop Lindor taking the throw from Gomes.
And then, I mean, it was more than a slap with a tag. Watch this tag. Watch him come down with the glove. Yeah, I'll tell you what, if he hit him in the face, I'm not sure he would like that very much. You want to get it down there. Better be careful.
1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way, and fouled the other way. So Parmelee with a 1 ball, 2 strike count.
When I played with Bobby Grich, who won 7 gold gloves, I think 4 here, maybe 3, or 3 here, 4 with the Angels. He would actually put his knee down, and then you couldn't get back to the bag. And then runners would get upset, and he would say, "Okay, come on," and nobody ever took him up on it. He was a pretty aggressive guy. You kind of like that, though. I mean, you want trying to get the glove as quickly to the runner as you can.
1-2 delivery on the way to him, and another swing and a miss. The tag is not put on, so the play is going to be made to first. So there's the strikeout on Parmelee, but the Orioles have a good inning. They get a couple of runs, 3 hits, no errors, 1 left. Leadoff homer in the inning was by Manny Machado, and the Orioles have a 4-0 lead. for the achiever in you. And by Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. Gary Thorne and Jim Palmer here in the city as Sunday afternoon at the ballpark, and the Orioles have the 4-0 lead for Jimenez when the Orioles score 3 or more runs when he pitches. 6-0. Carlos Santana will lead it off. Santana has flied out and struck out. Pitch will be taken inside. So as we mentioned earlier, you've got a starter here for the Orioles trying to get that string of starts going where the Oriole pitchers go 7 or more. That's hit into the shift. Davis back. Oh, he got it. It's the leaping ability of Chris Davis.
You're exactly right, young man. Yeah, I tell you what, this is when things are going well. Jimenez has been so good, not a lot of balls hit like that, and then you have your right fielder, former first baseman Chris Davis, snaring it.
Smiling about it after. Perfect timing on it. Put it away.
Well, this isn't BP where you learn how to play the position, especially the outfield, taking balls off the bat. Saw Al Bunbury yesterday. Al coming down, does stuff for the Orioles. Terrific rookie of the year, 73, but that's how he became a very adept fielder. You just take him off the bat just like it's game time.
Here's Brendan Moss. He'll take the pitch on the inside corner. The Oriole outfielders do that every day. Wayne Kirby, first base coach and in charge of the outfielders, comes out early and during batting practice and hits him off the bat. He goes behind the screen at second base. That'll be a broken bat bouncer. Long throw, Machado on the money.
We got the shortstop arm right there. Now, as good as Spanny is at third base, when I talked to one of my neighbors in Little Italy, Dean Albany, who scouts for the Orioles, he said, you should have seen him at shortstop. And of course, the Orioles already have 3 consecutive Gold Gloves with J.J. Hardy, so he's playing at third. And yeah. Probably looking at J.J. Used to throw like that, didn't he? They're a little different arm slots. J.J. is kind of like Alan Trammell in Detroit. The ball never moved. Like Mark Belanger, just over the top, like a 4-seam, about as straight as it could.
And a half-second, half-step before the guy gets there. No matter how fast or how slow.
Doesn't matter. That's that innate rhythm that these great defenders have.
That internal clock. That one is blooped behind the mound. Flaherty will come on and put it away, and Jimenez just dominating. 7th inning stretch time, Camden Yards, game 1 of our doubleheader.
highlights. Single by Joseph, home run by Jimmy Paredes. Another great afternoon early on. And then Ubaldo never been better. Boy, everything. The pitch proficiency, using all the pitches. And then, of course, Manny with his 15th home run, and even a cheerleader is Ubaldo Jimenez. And those are our Geico highlights. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
And we'll open our Major League Notebook to our Sunday column page. Torrey Hunter. Well, he used to joke about young players having to grow man muscles before they could hit for power. Saturday, old man muscles took over at Miller Park. Hunter turns 40 next month. Highlighted his 1,300th game in a Twins uniform by hitting 2 homers and a double in a 5-2 win over the Brewers. That from the Minnesota Star Tribune. And in our Sunday column page, we'll turn the page over to sportfusion.com. With a win, the Cardinals improved their season record to 50-24. Their best record at this point in the season since the 105-win year of 2005. History was achieved with a win. The 2015 Cardinal team became the first team in history to win 50 games before July 1st. Cardinals are playing great baseball.
Yeah, they're first in pitching, so that certainly helps. What are they in runs? The Cardinals are 7th in runs. Down the line and in home runs, only 11th. Even stolen bases, they just, as we mentioned on Friday, you talk to a lot of advanced scouts who see them play on a regular basis. They just play the game the right way. But again, it helps to be able to pitch, and they have some big guys. And Adam Wainwright out with Tommy John surgery all year long, and they're still didn't miss a beat, as good as he is.
Ready to go here in the bottom half of the 7th inning as the Orioles lead it 4-5-0. They've left only 2. The Indians 0-4-0. They have left 4. J.J. Hardy will lead it off. He's hit into a double play, and he has lined out. Hardy will take the pitch away. Both starters going the distance in the ball game so far. Bauer with a walk and 4 strikeouts. Jimenez no walks and 7 Ks. And the fastball is up and in. Now we got double barrel action as Hagedorn's been joined by Jeff Manship. 2-0 delivery by Bauer, and the fastball is there, throwing as hard as he was at the beginning.
He might even be gone up in velocity.
And the breaking ball still looks pretty good. Orioles have been able to get the long ball against him today. Look out. Second base, Kipnis has it and will record the out. Hardy retired, 1 away. Oriole Park is your perfect setting for your next group outing. Gather up family, friends, co-workers, colleagues. Have a great night or day at the yard. Discounted ticket prices for groups as small as 15. Party facilities for up to 1,000. Oriole Park, Camden Yards. Make it part of your outing experience. Orioles.com/groups. Ryan Flaherty is grounded out and flied out. 0 for 2 for the second baseman today. Foul back. Still got plenty of time to get in here for the ball game tonight. It's a split doubleheader, so the park will be emptied out. Second game, 7:05 first pitch. It is going to be Nome night. That Showalter Garden Nome will be given away. First 25,000 fans, 15 and over. You can get your tickets at Orioles.com and come to the ballpark on a Sunday night. Don't have many of those, but with this split doubleheader from the rain out yesterday, day-night. 1-1 pitch on the way. Flaherty out in front a bit. Backhanded nicely. Santana pitcher covers and finds the bag. Bauer was going backwards on a bad throw by Santana, but he found it.
Yeah, usually you kind of acknowledge your first baseman because you made him look pretty good. He makes a nice play to get to it. Not a particularly good throw, but this is nice footwork. Must have spent a couple of nights out of Westwood when he was going to UCLA. A little footwork. Yeah, there's a nice fight. That's 3 balls hit pretty sharply by Ryan Flaherty, and there we go. Look at that.
2 down. Good
What's that Scottish dance they do where you put the swords out and they never kind of dance around?
Better than
it's an Olympic sport, I think. I mean, it takes
Olympic sport.
You have to be a world-class athlete to do it. on one leg, and yeah.
Okay. 0-1 delivery on the way to Joseph. He's picked up a base hit, run scored, and is lined out.
That's a doubleheader.
Now what we're going to do now, you know, our research department is going to go to work. They got to find out what the name of that dance is.
Well, I was in Skibo Castle in Scotland, outside of Edinburgh. I'm going to castle drop right here. And castle drop.
You didn't have any of that peaty stuff that's made with the freshly distilled water.
But we did visit that.
Yes.
Whatever.
Thought maybe that's what
and all
you thought
stuff.
You saw somebody dancing.
No, it was Andrew Carnegie's old estate.
That one is popped up at the plate. I mean, a silo shot. And it'll be handled by Gomes. That'll retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning. The name of the Scottish dance where swords are placed and the dancers go on even if they haven't had any scotch. Header and the series finale coming up tonight. Chris Tillman will take the mound against Toro Murata, who's going to make his major league debut. Coverage 6:30 O's Extra, presented by Southwest. Game coverage at 7. All the access you need right here on MASN.
And there they are. A guy that they signed about 3 years ago, Murata, and then of course Tillman trying to get back on track. Won his last 3 starts, but no decision in Toronto after they gave him a 7-0 lead. Ooh.
Close but foul.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Caleb Joseph, it was like an In-N-Out burger, double cheeseburger in front of the plate. Let me get it.
He wanted.
No, he did. I mean,
your alliterations today are exceptional for a Sunday afternoon day game. Did I just say that? Like an In-N-Out burger. There's the youngster. Well, not a youngster. He's not a youngster. He's a veteran, but major league debut. And the pitch will be taken down low for a ball. So far, we've come up with the dance named the Scottish sword dance.
We got to come up with something better than that. But maybe that's it.
Yeah, if that's it, that's it. Bourne will take the pitch down low. Bourne has struck out and grounded out. Bourne, Urshela, and Kipnis at the top of the order. What a performance by Jimenez. He's at the 101 pitch mark. Grounder right back to him. Bourne retired. One away. We're in the 8th inning. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Ryan Madison, the bullpen.
Yeah, I know that when the Orioles got Ubaldo Jimenez, I went to Mickey Callaway when we were in Cleveland, and I said, because you got to remember, Ubaldo in 2013, before he came to the Orioles, was 9-9 and then went 4-0 with a 1.04 ERA in the month of September. 1 run a game. And I asked Mickey how'd that happen. He said fastball command. Seen that today. That allows him to use all his other pitches and rhythm. Got the ball and throws it.
That's
not
what he's
deliberate.
doing.
Yeah, and again, you're doing that because you've made some adjustments.
Urshela will put that one up in the air towards the power alley. Jones going back.
Yep. Get out
Adams
of the way.
right there, and he's got it. Parmalee goes in behind him. Or Davis, rather. Sorry. Urshela's retired on the fly ball, 2 down.
And Chris says, how would I know you didn't play Friday night? Come on. Get back in the lineup. So he'll earn, just in case.
Adam going, the last thing I need to do in my first game back with a bad shoulder is run into Chris Davis.
Steamrolled in right center field. It's one of those cartoons. You know, what was it? The Coyote cartoon.
Wile E. Coyote?
Yeah, he'd always get steamrolled by the some way.
Roadrunner.
Roadrunner, right? Yeah, he'd be out on the asphalt, flat.
Over the cliff,
into the mountain, and whatever. That could have been Adam.
0-1 count, 2 down.
And then he'd have to start another Cal Ripken consecutive games.
Two down here in the 8th. Kipnis may have his 20-game hit streak ended right here. He is 0 for 3. Fouls that one back over the screen. Count remains at 2 strikes.
This is one of those days where wherever Caleb Joseph puts the glove, that's when you're really on a roll. Number one, he's not shaking them off. That's where Ubaldo's throwing the ball. They wanted to go up in the zone. The ball was up. Now they'll go under the strike zone.
0-2 ground ball towards second base. Played by Flaherty. That may be the end of that streak. The longest in the majors at the moment. And Ubaldo Jimenez gets a great hand. 7 in a row retired. He's been just sensational. Shutting out the Indians on 4 hits. 4-0 O's.
Of course, for Manny, 15th home run, career high, and makes it 3-0 at the time.
Drive of the game brought to you by Lexus of Towson, the area's #1 volume Lexus dealer, 5 years running. See why at lexusofTowson.com. Orioles leading 4-0.
So Trevor Bauer, a couple of pitches up in the zone, breaking ball to Machado, fastball out over the plate. Other than that, kind of like the fact that he pitched deep in the ball game. Didn't get any runs. Not easy to pitch in those days. Hagedorn came over from the Red Sox in the Victor Martinez trade. So not having as good a years as he's had in the past. Numbers up a little bit last year. 35 games, 1-0. And again, the ERA a little bit lower. So you look at those numbers. Might be one of those games. Well, I guess he's going to depart. Dave Wallace talking to Ubaldo. Really doesn't get any better than the way he pitched today.
Sensational. 29-year-old left-hander for Bauer now. Orioles bat in the bottom half of the 8th inning. And that went off the glove to the backstop. Waited a long time in the dugout before they went over to see Jimenez between innings. It was not immediate, so probably there was a little discussion going on. Dave Wallace, Buck Showalter, about do we leave him in there, try for a complete game or not. 1-0 count. Machado, he'll rip one down the line. That'll be chased into the corner by Brantley. On his way to second base, Manny Machado 2 for 4, home run and a double.
Yeah, Manny's not going to turn 23 till July. I think July 7th. Boy, but tons of at bat. He misses with a fastball, comes back with another one, and then it gets smoked. It is in the middle of the plate, but he's looking for it. That's what you do. Guy throws 95. You hit off it, and when you get your pitch to hit and you're hot, he is red hot. As we mentioned, now a 9-game hit streak. Home runs, singles, doubles, you name it.
6th hit for the Orioles. Paredes going after another 3-hit ball game. He's had his 9th home run of the season and a double. A couple of runs scored and a walk. Paredes has stayed hot. Orioles here in the ball game today. They are 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position. 4 for 13 in the first 2 games of this series. Shortstop Lindahl holding the runner at second. 1-0 count. Paredes trying to go the other way, fouls it off. Big cut again.
Yeah, they brought Mark Zepzinski, another lefty, in a 3-through ball game, and Paredes hit the first pitch off the wall in right center field. Orioles would go on to win on Friday night 4-3.
Orioles trying to tack on another here in the 8th inning.
I'd love to shoot one to right field, get Manny in or over.
1-0 delivery on the way. Bouncer gets away, and another one to the backstop. 2 by Bauer, now 1 by Hagedorn. And a runner at third base with nobody out.
Now, I would imagine that's got to be a pass ball because it was in the air. Just doesn't catch it because he pulls it way inside. Certainly not easy.
So Manny Machado now with a lot of ways to score, and a chance for Paredes to get him in. Infield is drawn in. 2-1 delivery on the way. Paredes just trying to drive it somewhere. We'll foul it straight back. 2 balls and 2 strikes. For Paredes this season, the multi-hit games just keep piling up. He's now had 21 multi-hit ball games. It's his 9th 3-hit game. He's had 1 4-hit game. And the pitch taken inside, and he's got a chance for another 3-hit ball game here.
He didn't even flinch on that changeup, and it wasn't that far out of the zone. I mean, the focus, we talked about the magic wands when you get runners at third, less than 2 outs, or runners in scoring position. Orioles doing a great focused job of hitting.
3-2 delivery on the way. Paredes will take that inside. So Paredes has drawn a couple of walks 4 times up and 4 times on today. The only 2 walks, in fact, that have been surrendered by the 2 Indian pitchers. Follow the Orioles wherever you go. MLB.com at bat, #1 app. Live baseball at bat is up to the moment at the moment. In-game highlights, look-ins, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Terry Francona is coming out with Adam Jones coming up. He will go to the bullpen, not wanting the left-hander to stay on. So Hagedorn is going to be out of there, no part of an inning, with a hit and a walk, responsible for the 2 on base. Orioles in the bottom of the 8th, batting with a 4-0 lead.
Jiffy Lube, drive in today. Jeff Manship on. Boy, doing a great job down at their AAA affiliate. 1 run in last 20 and a third innings over his last 15 appearance. So they called him up June 18th. Right here, game number 3 in the big leagues. Boy, he's been around. Drafted by the Twins back in 2006, Colorado, Phillies, and then with the Indians.
Out of Texas, and 30 years old. Manship on with the Orioles. Runners at first and third, and nobody out. Adam Jones getting back into the lineup today. He is 0 for 3. He'll get his second chance with a runner in scoring position. The infield will stay drawn in. They're not willing to surrender the run with nobody out here. And of course, Manny Machado does not have to go at third base on contact. No outs, 2 on. Manship's delivery and a fly ball again, not deep. Left fielder Brantley coming. Runner will tag, but not going to go anywhere. Brantley will hang on to it. The runners stay at first and third. Jones retired, 0 for 4 day on his return. 1 down. All right, we got your dance for you. Scottish dance with knives. It is the Highland dance, and we thank Renard Taylor for letting us know it's the Scottish dance with knives, Highland dance.
We'll work on that.
Don't try that at home.
No.
Here's Chris Davis. Davis double at an RBI. He is struck out and lined out. Chris has extended his hit streak to 7 games with that RBI 2-bagger in the 6th inning. Now the infield at double play depth. At third base, though, Urshela will stay close to the bag to hold Manny Machado close. The corners could still come home if that's the best option. Not a forced play at the plate. 1 down. Right-hander's delivery. Manship gets a foul ball off the fist off Davis.
Yeah, Gomes slides in. Do it right where he put the target.
Big crowd today. 45,675. 4-5-6-7-5 for game 1 of our 2-game set. 7:05 first pitch. Second game. Tickets still available for the ball game tonight. Buck Showalter Gnome Garden Night. First 25,000, 15 and over get the Gnome. And that will be taken inside for a ball. 2-1.
Well, if the Orioles do win this game, they will have won 17 out of their last 22. What did Buck say? He said clubs usually kind of find out who you are when you get into June.
2-ball, 1-strike delivery. Well,
good
big
ball
swing
there.
and a miss.
Good sharp hook.
Well, right now the Orioles are who they are from last year. I mean, when they put up those big wins, it was June where it started, and it's starting again.
There's a breaking ball, and there's probably never seen him before, so didn't want to swing but did, and a good breaking ball can make you do that.
2-ball, 2-strike count, and Davis ground ball. Could be 2, but how are you going to get it? There's 1 and there's 2. There's nobody to cover second base. So the tag had to be made by Lindor, the shortstop, playing on the other side of second. They get it done. The Orioles need 3 to win.
Then all of a sudden it's 2-0. I mean, a rocket into right center field. Caleb Joseph had led off the inning with a single. Jimmy Paredes with his 9th home run. And it was smoked to right center field, 2-0 at the time. And there is a ball to Marvelous. What sensational is your call on that? So again, a little bit less fastballs, even though it didn't seem that everything was about as good as it could be today.
So a chance for the win. Brian Mattis to try and finish it up.
Yeah, last pitch 4 days ago, and did a nice job inning in the third with a strikeout. So he's gone 10 scoreless innings. And if you're with us in Boston, it seems after the suspension, 8-day suspension for having the foreign substance on his arm, and he actually thrown better. Velocity's gone up, lines are better, staying over his front side a little bit more. Need to get 3 outs here.
Lindor will lead it off, and the pitch will be taken up high. Defensive changes for the Orioles. Lowe comes on to play for Pierce in left. Reimold for Davis in right. Lindor 0 for 3 in the game, 2 for 8 in the first 2. And Brian Mattis striking the outside corner. The Orioles are looking to pick up their 18th day game win. Barring a major comeback by the Indians, the Orioles will be 18-11 in day games. Indians will fall to 14-16 in games started before 5 o'clock.
And that little backdoor curveball. Brian, again, we see him matching up against lefties. And now that he's ahead, looks like they're going to try to get him out in.
Pitch will bounce.
Yeah.
Orioles are after their 40th win of the year. If they get it, they will be 6 games over 500 for the first time this year. The 5 games they're currently above 500 is their best mark of the year. Mike Showalter's team just a game and a half off the pace of the Rays coming into today's play. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Delivery by Brian Mattis will be up and away.
Well, they have action in the Oriole bullpen, and at the end of the day, you'd love to have Brian Mattis come in and get his work, but he needs to get his out. So you got the closer, Britton, the lefty, and then Chaz Rowe, who's been lights out, the right-hander.
Runner on, save situation if that happens, and it does. So the leadoff man is on as Lindor draws the walk. That's the first walk, as Jimenez did not give one up. So Cleveland keeping it alive. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Coons.com. When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons.
And just think if you're the Indians. And it really sounds like I'm insulting Brian, but you're just so happy that Ubaldo was that good that he's gone. And that's kind of the way it is. You go to the back end of your bullpen. This really isn't the back end because Brian usually pitches earlier in the game. So certainly capable of getting people, but not when you walk people. It's a no-no with a 4-run lead.
Brantley, a .304 hitter off left-handers. He's got 2 singles in the ballgame, 2 for 3. Runner at first. 0-1 delivery on the way. And the pitch will miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Orioles trying to preserve a win, maybe a shutout. Orioles as a team have pitched 4 shutouts. The Indians have been shut out 4 times. 1 ball, 1 strike count. And that pitch will turn him inside.
See, and the problem when you get into the heart of the lineup, Brantley, I mean, it's better against lefties than righties. He's over 300 against left-handers. So now he knows he's most likely going to get a strike here because the game dictates that. That's the way you pitch.
Brantley's 1 for 4 off Brian Mattis. Goes after it, fouls it back. Souvenir. So Mattis comes back on him to even up the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The performance by Ubaldo Jimenez today, his longest outing of the year. He'd gone 7 previously. Goes 8 in this one. Looking for his 95th career win. The Orioles can maintain the lead. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Wow. Swung through it.
So that's the perfect pitch. These are the ones you live for if you're a pitcher. Brantley goes, I don't like that. I mean, that's down and away. 91, best velocity, perfectly And I mean perfectly located outside corner.
So I think Terry Francona is going to go to the bench here as Ryan Rayburn will come up to pinch hit for Murphy. Murphy's 5 for 11 with a home run off Brian Mattis.
Yeah.
And Buck Showalter's going to come out.
The minute they announce Rayburn.
It's a save situation here.
But I think it's going to be Chaz Rowe. I think he wants to match up. That's how good Rowe has been.
Yeah. So Rowe will come on with Mattis working a third of an inning, a strikeout and a walk for the left-hander.
Two-seam fastballs with great movement, and then one of the better sliders on the Orioles staff. Great numbers. Gave up a home run against Ortiz on a slider here. And look at that, only 6 walks, 19 in the third innings, only 11 hits, more walks than innings pitched. Gets righties and lefties out, and then that home run that Ortiz hit.
Orioles have a 4-0 lead, 1 on and 1 down. Lindor the runner at first base. Rayburn is the pinch hitter, and he will take the pitch outside for a ball. Well, the Orioles trying to find those always difficult final 3 outs in the 9th inning to preserve the W.
Well, they only have a 6-man bullpen at least till game 2. And there's a fastball that all afternoon might have been called a strike, but Larry Vanover said it was off the plate. But again, hasn't pitched till Tuesday. That's a long time.
Rayburn 5 for 16 as a pinch hitter and 8 pinch hit RBIs. 2-0 count. TJ McFarland, while he's not on the roster, will be in all likelihood for game 2 tonight. He is here. He's never left. As Buck Showalter said today, if it's legal for him to have stayed around after we took him off the 25-man roster, then he stayed. If it isn't, he left. 3-0 delivery on the way, and that pitch is in there for a strike. Rayburn trying to draw the walk, obviously.
Well, you pitch to the scoreboard, and if you look at the scoreboard, it's 4-0. So therefore, right here, you have to make him swing the bat, or at least throw a strike with the intention of making him swing the bat. Yeah, he's got a little pop.
Santana with power on deck, and that's not what he wanted to do.
No.
Now you do have a save situation, and you do have your closer Zach Britton ready in the bullpen. You got 2 on here via walks in the 9th inning.
Well, Mattis hadn't pitched since Wednesday, Rose since Monday, and Zach Britton saying, okay, I hope it's not my turn, but when might that be?
Now Rowe will work to Santana, who's 0 for 3, 1 for 7 in the 2 games. And as we said, he's got power. Ball's going to be popped up towards center. Adam Jones, runners halfway. Adams got it. 2nd out.
You know, sometimes when your ball runs all over the place, and that's the way Chaz Rowe, the same thing that will get hitters out sometimes gets you in trouble when you're not as sharp as you'd like to be because you're inactive.
2 down, 9th inning. Orioles lead it. Trying to get a W and a shutout.
I thought your interview, you did a nice interview with the Milton boss. He said, what are you trying to improve on? And said, working on a changeup, but you're not going to see it this afternoon.
Here is Moss. 1 for 3, robbed of a hit. Last time up by Hardy. And he goes after it in the air to right field. Lining it up is Nolan Reimold. Game 1 goes to the Orioles. Ubaldo will get the win. Jimenez with a great outing. No runs, 4 hits, over 8 for him. And the Orioles get a shutout, winning game 1 of the doubleheader by a score of 4-0. There's your final line. Jimenez now 7-3. Trevor Bauer takes the loss 6-5.